Today, I want to share a story of something that happened to me when I was a kid. Um, my best friend and I were kind of like just running through different stores and all that. We were really young, so we would run through Sears and basically just kind of play around and have a lot of fun running through the clothing racks, hiding in the middle of the clothing racks, that kind of stuff. Stuff young kids do. Anyway, um, we were probably 10 or 11 years old. I don't remember the exact age. Might have even been a little bit younger. But anyway, um, there was one person shopping through all of the clothing that we kind of like seemed to be running through all the time. And we had seen him before, but we didn't exactly know what his name was. I mean, we knew it after a certain amount of time, but basically it was Dom DeLuise, the person who acted with Burt Reynolds all the time with some Mel Brooks movies. Um, Really good actor, really funny guy. Anyway, he used to see us all the time, and he'd kind of like wave to us, and sometimes he kind of like talked to us for a bit. Just he was just a nice guy. Anyway, so when we were done playing around in there, we would usually go to McDonald's, which was down the street. This is in Santa Monica. And so we go to McDonald's, get ourselves a soda or something, whatever we can afford. Sometimes we'd split a soda. So we would get into McDonald's, and almost every time we would see Dom DeLuise sitting there in one of the back booths. And after a while, he just kept inviting us over, and he'd sometimes buy us a soda. Sometimes he'd just sit there and talk to us. He'd ask us stories about us, and he didn't really share a lot about himself, but he was definitely aware that we knew who he was. But at the same time, we weren't treating him like a superstar or a celebrity. We just hung out with him for a while. And so this happened for, I'd say, a year or two. Um, and it was just kind of like an everyday thing during the week, you know. This was during the summer, um, which is why we weren't in school. Anyway, a year or two goes by, and haven't really thought about it and hadn't seen him for a little while. Because we'd see him every now and then, but for some reason I hadn't seen him for a small amount of time. And so anyway, my mom decides at this time that she's going to take me, not us, take me to Carl's Jr., which a lot of people may actually know as Hardee's in other areas of the country. Now, I loved the place because I loved their food, and my mom loved their food, but we couldn't really afford it a lot of times. But this time, my mom decided to treat us, and so we went to Carl's Jr., which was pretty much on the north part of Santa Monica. And so when we got there, my mom orders the food, and so she's walking around the counter, you know, towards the chairs with her tray, and she's got the tray and all the food on it. And I turn the corner, and the first person I see is, of course, Dom DeLuise. And Dom DeLuise is sitting in one of the booths way in the back. And so first thing he does is he goes, "Dwayne!" And my mom just kind of like looks at me for a second, and he goes, "Come on over." And so both of us walked over, my mom kind of a little nervous, like this was Dom DeLuise. Because when we had turned the corner, that's right, she was the first one who saw him, and she was like, "Dwayne, you're never going to believe who's here. That's Dom DeLuise." And so that's right when Dom DeLuise yelled for me. So anyway, we went up closer to him, and he goes, "Dwayne, is this your lovely mother?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Come on, sit down with me, please." And so we all sat down with him. And so for the next half hour or so, might have been a little bit longer, he just kind of regaled us and kind of like set up shop, you know, entertaining basically my mother, because my mother was just flabbergasted that this was actually happening. And so this went on for a while, and he's very entertaining. I hadn't realized that as a kid because he was just friendly to us. He wasn't trying to, like, you know, entertain us. And so, yeah, he did the whole thing. And then when we were done, my mom was walking with me out to the car, and I remember her hitting me in my arm and going, "Why didn't you tell me you knew Dom DeLuise?" And that was my story with Dom DeLuise. We saw him a bunch of times after that in Sears, because we always saw him. But that was my favorite story, because that's when my mom realized that I was pretty gregarious and I loved talking to people. And she never imagined for a million years that I was going to be talking to Dom DeLuise.